the $400 world's cheapest duck boat. So right now I'm headed to Lenox, Georgia to pick up a $300 mud motor. And my plans with this motor is to make the cheapest duck boat you can make. I'm hoping Facebook Marketplace does me right this time and it does run. He's asking $300 for it, and I already have a boat picked out in mind, and I'll show it to you when I get back. But as long as this goes well, my budget is $400 and this is $300. So that leaves me $100 in the budget to do everything else on this boat. That's gonna include spray paint and whatever else you need for a duck boat. I'm not the most versed in it, but we'll figure it out. I'm about 10 minutes away now. Let's see if this thing is what the listing says it is. How's it going?
Good.
Mason.
Jake.
Nice to meet you.
Just follow me to my house. They're right down that dirt path right there.
That's how you know it's the good stuff, when they tell you to go down a sketchy dirt driveway. That's always the exciting thing to do. Get you a little adrenaline going. Curious if you're gonna make this out alive or not. Well, you gotta risk it for the $300 mud motor biscuit. Just cruising through random humans' properties. You mind if I film? I got a little YouTube channel. Yeah. Alrighty. Alrighty. Does it crank up and all that?
Yeah. It's good fire around here.
Yeah. Alrighty. Sweet. So we just picked it up. It runs, does everything I needed to do. Not the most beautiful thing in the world, but it's cool. I'm kind of happy I got it. And I'm not too upset with the price. I mean, 300 bucks, not a bad gig. It's gonna make this duck boat a duck boat. So yeah, nothing to it. Let's get back and start working on that duck boat. All right, so it's a new day and we are back with a $300 mud motor. I'm gonna give you a quick tour of the motor, and then I'm gonna give you a tour of what boat we're gonna use. So I think it's like a 6.5 horse Predator. I'm not 100% sure. It's got one of the kind of cheaper lower end attachments on it. That's our mounting bracket. That's the plate the motor sits on, and then that's just the shaft housing. Comes all the way down here. Tiny little prop. You can kind of get an idea of how big it is compared to my hand. Nothing crazy. I think it should push our boat pretty well. Let me show you the boat we're gonna work with. So if y'all have seen Norm's junkyard boat build, you will remember these two boats. This is gonna be the boat. It is the top of a conversion van that we just cut all the way off. It looks like a boat. It should be light enough and strong enough to hold whatever we throw at it. Let's get this thing loaded on my little trailer here. The wood I'm gonna be using is just some 2x4s that I found in a pile of wood in our backyard that's been sitting there for probably the better part of 10 years. Little waterlogged, but it'll do the trick. Oh. Ah. All right, we're gonna drag this thing to our makeshift paint booth. Gosh, this looks so funny. Definitely doesn't look like a boat right this second, but that's what we're here for. I'll give you the quick rundown of our crazy new duck boat. It's got this weird lip that makes sense for aerodynamics. Flipped over, not so great for hydrodynamics, I think. I don't know how much that's gonna affect us. I don't know if it's gonna try to pull the nose down or what. This is my other slight concern. It's got this big hump. Don't know how that's gonna affect us in the water. Hopefully it's to our benefit, but I feel like it's gonna be to our detriment. Let's start sanding this thing down. And I don't know if y'all can hear the thunder. We're trying to beat a storm here because I don't think paint sticks that well with a bunch of humidity. Also not a paint expert, so let's try to get this thing knocked out before we get rained on. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of lightly sand the hole. So it's not essential to sand this thing down, but I'm going to, just so that way this paint sticks for a day and a half rather than a day. So yeah, let's sand it real quick. Make sure you guys wear your mask. And you also want to try to protect your eyes. So, you know, load up those safety squints like that. Some of those work great. Get close. that does it. Fully sanded to all rightness. So I'm gonna go ahead, get a wet towel, get all the extra stuff off of it, all the years of neglect and no love, just like me. We're gonna wet down the towel, wipe it all off, get all the dust, fiberglass, everything off. We're gonna go ahead and take our primer and maybe, I don't really know what I'm doing, to be honest. Not a huge painter fella or boat builder fella out of conversion van toppers. I think what I'm gonna do is take my primer, just prime over some of these areas that are like where it goes from blue to white to blue. I don't know if it's gonna make a difference. In my mind, maybe the transitions will be better. It doesn't matter, but I'm using this as kind of a practice boat for funsies. So that way when I get a RV and flip it upside down to make a boat, it'll look good. So the goal is just that, with a little bit of that action, should clean the surface enough. This just seems like maybe not the proper way, but a way to do it, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a professional, not even close. It actually looks kind of cool. It's like a sketch. I don't know if you guys have seen those cars that people are painting with like Sharpies and stuff like that. It's supposed to look like you drew it, but it's an actual car. This is that. All right, so our cleaning process is done. We're gonna set this thing back over near the shed, let it marinate and dry for a little bit. Let it dry, put the fan on it, because we kind of got limited time to get this thing painted before it rains really, really hard. So yeah, let's hurry up and let this thing dry. The boat is completely dried out. I'm gonna go ahead and start priming these little edges, let that dry before it rains super hard, because we're about to get rained on, unfortunately. Oh, I don't know if you can hear me. Great. It's raining, which is awesome. The primer's not working that great, and I ran out. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my Rust-Oleum camouflage boat paint. It's got a boat in the picture, it's what we need. We're gonna do green first, and then come in with our tan, and that'll be it. Yeah, these are perfect conditions for painting. And the roof's leaking a little bit of water. Make sure you shake your cans good and nice. Oh. There's a little bit of color difference on the white and the blue. It's fine. The front's kind of getting rained on a little bit. I'm now noticing most of the boat's getting rained on a little bit. Some of you might be fooled that I'm like a professional painter because of the way I do this, but I'm not. Almost out of paint in this one can. Only have one more can, and I have not a lot done. Really think I should have stood this thing up. So I'm sure many of you can tell that most of my spray painting experience came from basically spray painting my parents' driveway. That's about it. She's coming together though. The ducks won't know it hit them. Looking good. Back half done. We're gonna need a lot more cans. Some people are thinking, Mason, it doesn't look like you know what you're doing. You know what I say to that? You don't know what you're doing. Sorry, that was mean. My poor life decisions, I'm kind of projecting. Not gonna lie, I should have just got like a roller and paint. It would have been done 5 minutes ago. You live and you learn. That part is I watch people like painting things all the time on TikTok and Instagram, and I have not paid attention. I just like the satisfaction of their... Before I make my paint run, I do want to try something. That's it. I'm starting a painting company for duck boats. I'm gonna sell duck boat paint jobs to people that are technically legally blind. Now, I don't want to get too cocky and say that's amazing work, but that's camouflaged. Pretty good. Let's go get some more green paint because my 2 cans lasted me half the boat. Got my spray paint, picked up some black spray paint. Gonna use it for something. Probably for the interior of the boat. Been like all day just painting this thing. I still have to build the frame and all the interior to hold the motor that it's not rated for. So let's get it done before we run out of daylight. No more talkie. I'm just gonna get this thing knocked out as fast as I can. All right. Completely painted with the first coat. She's looking maybe not professional, but who said anything about that? I'm not gonna camo the bottom of the boat, mainly because these ducks we're chasing after can't see the bottom of the boat. We'll go ahead, finish painting up the side with our little stencil that we cut down from my parents' backyard. Due to somebody's poor planning, not to name named, me, out of the tan, which I probably could have guessed, but I didn't because I'm a stupid dummy head sometimes. Gonna have to go get some more tan. We're back. Didn't want to drive for 30 minutes. I got brown interior, exterior, wooden metal spray. Cool thing is there's only like this corner and about that much left. Ducks won't see that part of the boat. So let's go ahead and get this part knocked out. I'm sick of painting this boat, mainly because I'm so bad at it. Yeah. Let's just gonna let this dry for a little bit. Then we're gonna flip this bag girl over and start working on the interior. All right, so got the boat flipped over. It's now sitting on the trailer. I need to install my little hook up here so our winch has something to hook onto. That's not what I want. I knew I should have bought extra nuts for it, but I'm a goof. For the people that weren't sure if nuts off of a battery work on your hook ring that you bought from a random hardware store, they do. As the young kids say, that's such a vibe right now. That ain't going nowhere. Oh, yes. Moment of truth. Get over here. All right, now that the boat's on the trailer, hook is installed, fitted to the trailer. We got a little more room that's easier to work because of height and such. Yep. If you don't strip your screws, are you doing it right? All right, so here's kind of my thought. I'm going to take PCA and go back there, and that'll just be our entire transom. And then I'm gonna take these 2x4s that I found in the backyard and add some little gussets, and hopefully that should be enough. It looks like these are 2x4s in here that were fiberglassed over. I should be able to screw into those and have enough support. First, I'm gonna cut out a little channel here, so this board has pretty much all the leverage and displacement on the back of this transom. It's a lot of big words. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but it kind of makes sense, so cut it out. Cut, just like that. Didn't even measure it. And I know it's gonna fit because the cut's too big for the back, so. Not really sitting the most flush. You can see the little gap there. But I think what I'm gonna do, and honestly, it's probably not the best idea. Again, I'm not an expert. I might just fill it with foam. After I screw in that board, fill it with foam, maybe add a little bit of less wiggle room for the board to work its way out. Re-drill my holes so I don't crack the wood. Gonna throw some screws on these ends just to suck in this piece a little more. Make sure we strip those right out so it does nothing. All right, so it's the next day. I burned the midnight oil, but that's what it takes to get this perfection. Let me give you a quick little rundown of the finished product. We got the sweet camo on the side. Comes back, wraps around to our heavy duty transom with scrap wood that I just found in the barn. We got our 2x4 gusset. I'm sure it'll hold. Motor's looking, well, just as beautiful as ever. So it's pretty much wrapped up. Inside's painted, outside's painted. It's on the trailer, looking good. Let's go water test this thing. All right, guys, so we're already here at the lake. I unhooked the trailer boat from the truck because it is super, super shallow. So far, no water leaks yet. Knock on cheap duck boat. We should be good. I'm gonna go ahead and unstrap it, unhook it, and we'll start water testing this thing. Guys, this is gonna be the true test to see if she floats. This thing is not the prettiest. Dude, this thing weighs nothing. Look how that thing spins. There's no drag there whatsoever. Look how much that thing, I mean, that's gotta be an inch. It's only sitting in about an inch. Let me hop in this thing. Let's see how deep she sits. Oh, I think we're good. That is sick. Gosh, there's so much room in this thing. The edges aren't even close. This is actually pretty crazy. I did not expect this to go that well. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to fire up this motor. It did run yesterday, made a lot of noise. So I'm gonna go ahead and fire it up and start testing this thing a little bit. We're moving! Oh! mud motor. Eat, baby, eat! Come on! Oh my! We're waking! Look at this! Let's see how she turns. Oh! A little heavy to steer, but we're turning! I think we're a little too shallow for it. Oh, there she goes. Come on, girl. Oh, we gotta pin it. We just gotta pin it. That was amazing. This thing was cooking. We got some water in the boat. We got a little bit of stuff wrapped up on our shaft, not much. This thing has a little bit of play in it, so we might have to figure out what that's about. Oh wow, $400, and we were moving. We were going straight through all those weeds, running through dirt, everything. That is crazy. So I'm really putting this thing through the paces, but one last thing we gotta try. Jumping an island. I forgot about the back again. Back sits a little low, front sits a little low, but the sides are good. Runs great. We didn't get stuck on the island. Like, does that count as, I'm counting that as a win. We didn't get stuck on the island, at least not for very long. Our motor powered right through it, kinda. Overall, this is just awesome. I will say, small improvement. The motor needs to be lifted up more, and the front of the boat and the rear of the boat need to be cut a little taller because the water likes to come over the back just a little bit. Thank you, appreciate you. More videos like this to come.